Welcome to another episode of Hobby Ramble. I'm Addy, and I'm here by myself today for a very exciting first solo stream. Um, I had a very eventful week last week where we came home from a wedding in Denver, and we found out that our garage had some minor flooding, which you can see we actually cleaned up almost everything behind us. Um, Not a lot of damage, nothing major, but just mostly annoying. Oh, Taiko's coming out here. Let me. I'll let Taiko in. He's gonna help with stream today. We have Taiko hanging out, so we have company. Matt was on vacation, so he is not here, but he might hang out and chat a little bit later. And I am getting ready to go to the Grand Narrative this week. Fly out on Thursday? On Thursday. So I just have some models to finish up here. I'm working on this Kroot Shaper. It's actually the Kill Broker from the new Kill Team box, but I'm running him as a Shaper. So I'm gonna just probably mostly just work on his flesh today. Try to get him wrapped up. Basically, as long as I can get this model based by Thursday, everything I have is ready to go. You can let me know in chat what you're working on, and if there's anything you want to see me do on this guy. In the meanwhile, let's switch over. I'll go to overhead, and also I'm gonna experiment with playing some music. I try to get it working through OBS, which I haven't been able to do. So I'm playing it off of my computer, and it's gonna get picked up by the microphone. So it should be. Maybe, if it's too loud, just let me know and I'll turn it down a little bit. So let's go. We got some music. Yeah, okay. So we got to get our wet palette ready. Yeah, I was just trying to get this music thing working right up until the last minute. And I didn't realize it was almost 7. So I didn't get to set up all of my stuff before we started. But I have it going now. It's okay. Yeah, but the water that came in to the garage was actually not why we canceled the stream last week. Because by the time, probably around 4 o'clock last week, the garage was, mostly dry. We didn't have much water left. Picked everything up. Everything was drying. We're ready to go. And Felicia went out to walk the dog, and she got stung by a yellow jacket and thought nothing of it. Then went to the grocery store and was just starting to break out in hives, and ended up having an anaphylactic reaction to the sting. So we ran to the doctor, got an EpiPen, but that sort of mixed up our whole evening. She is doing well now. Everything is fine. But it was a stressful hour and a half. Dr. Macravilla, did you pick up another of those boxes, or is this that same one? Oh, hi, Matt. I had this great plan to teach Tycho how to sit in the chair next to me. So it would just be me and Tycho on the open. Um, but I ran out of time. How's the volume on the music? I'm glad it's sounding good because it's just playing off of my computer speakers and getting picked up by the microphone. It does help that we have this really nice mic that you can change the direction that it's picking up, so I have it set up to pick up in front and behind. But yeah, so I'll scoot over to be more in the center. What I'm doing here, so I painted everything, all the skin green, and then I came in with Agrax Earthshade very thinned out to shade all the recesses, but I'm coming back with the same base coat color to bring it back up. I don't usually do this, but for this skin, it does really want to get brighter. So I'm gonna come back and just leave the recesses dark. I don't like this, like adding the wash step and then coming back with the same color. Normally, I would rather just shade the recesses, but with all of the organic shapes, it does go really fast to just wash the whole thing, and I do want to build up those flesh tones back up. Yeah, I did say that if I was still painting stuff for the grand narrative this week, I'd probably be in trouble, but I'm actually really not. If I base this model today, I would be ready to go. I have everything mostly packed too. I tested my suitcase setup, and everything fits. This is nice. It's actually so I use the new Agrax Earthshade here, and it's doing a really good job at not tinting the surfaces too much. There's definitely very little like tide marks or tea staining from it. The only spot, see if it'll focus on it, it's a little dark, but it's right in the arm there. Yeah, it's not. I had a drop there that I didn't clean up, and it did dry darker. So that's a spot. That's kind of the reason I want to do all of it, is just to make sure I can get that cleaned up, and then I have my 2 lighter green. Yeah, so you have me alone this week, and you have Matt alone next week, because I will be just getting back from the Grand Narrative. Ooh, the Stormbringers are almost all done. That's exciting. Titans, do you have your audio on, or are you at Waystone? We'll see if he answers. Yeah, I feel that on just being done enough. Uh, I have a hard time getting to that level. Sometimes what happens though is that I'm paying for an event and then I don't finish the models, and then I bring them to the event and then I don't want to pick them up again for like 2 months afterwards, which I think is going to happen with some of this POW stuff, where it's like I have to do metallics on them, which might not happen until next year. I'm just want to paint some board games. I want to finish painting some Cthulhu, so I can play Cthulhu over Thanksgiving when we have family in town. It's the game. If anyone has played it, would know that it's not too complicated. If you haven't, it's a great game to pick up if you want something that is fun, has lots of models, and it's not doesn't have a huge barrier compared to some other games. And they are releasing another season of it. So I have season 1 and 2, and I think they're releasing season 3 and 4 now. They just finished a Kickstarter, so it might be a while, but they are coming out. But in other gaming news, I played my first game of Age of Sigmar with the one and only Delicious Relish, and it was a blast. I had a super fun time. It just felt so much more lighthearted than a lot of 40k rules. Just overall, a lot more fun interactions going on there. So I'm super excited to keep building up my Soul Blight. I did order that Christmas box, so I'll have that coming. That actually gets me about 2,000 points of Soul Blight. So I'll have a full army that I can play around with, and then figure out what I want next. Oh yeah, it's unfinished model staring at me. I have a little like drawer unit that I use to store. I mean, I would say hobby stuff, but really, it's to store all of my unfinished models, so I don't have to look at them. But each drawer has a different project in it. But I do have Farsight sitting on my desk. He's most of the way finished, and you know, I'll have to pick him up one day soon before I change my mind on how I want him painted. Because then it just feels bad if you start painting something and then you change what you want to do. So then, like, do you strip the model that's mostly painted to paint it again, or do you just finish it in a way that you're not happy with? I don't know. It's like a weird spot to be in. Maybe I'll finish Farsight before I go on to other projects. I say that now, but it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, here's... I wish I could adjust the brightness. I feel like this model looks so dark on the preview screen. Oh, so Dan, the way that I keep track, so for my Tau, I have a very, very methodical system of keeping track. So let me just say that I generally don't do, like, I don't have like a battle ready and a parade ready. Like, my models aren't done until they're all the way done. But the way that I tell apart the models that I finished from the models that I haven't finished is that I generally don't put a grass tuft on the base, and I don't paint the base rim. So they might be varnished at that point, but if I still have details left, the bases won't be done. So I can look at my whole army, and I'll know which models still need to be finished. But if I'm playing them on the table, there's nothing obviously unfinished about them, maybe except the base rim. And the place the grass tuft came from was actually that I wouldn't varnish the models until I was done with them. So I didn't want to varnish them with a grass tuft on there, because then the tuft would get all messed up. So I didn't put the tufts on. But then I started varnishing them before they're totally done, especially because I'm not too worried about metallic chipping. It's just not very likely to happen. They're pretty tough paints for the most part. And usually they're not in a spot that'll easily rub off. So I varnish them before metallics, then do the metallics, and then they are done. And sometimes I'll go back and do battle damage, but usually if I don't do it when I'm like getting through the whole unit, it's very unlikely that I'll come back and add it in later. Yeah, Titans, I feel like if you're looking at it and you don't know what isn't done, it's probably done.
Is everybody in the groove? Well, stick around. We're just warming up, baby.
Yeah, I feel like there's nothing really like playing with a fully painted army. It just feels so much better. You roll better. Game is more fun. But I do also feel that like sometimes it's worth playing with unfinished models so you can get to a full 2,000 points or however many points you're playing. It does really change the game. I think especially in Heresy, like if you're playing with less than 2,000 points, like that's a very, very different game. Without Zone Mortalis rules. Zone Mortalis rules, I think, do a pretty good job at balancing out some of that weirdness. No, I did make a spreadsheet for my Crimson Fists to get them ready for the Grand Narrative. which I could use for tracking things that aren't finished, but it doesn't go into that level of detail. Like I don't go into like what point I finished models to. I just say whether they are built, uh, painted, or and based. So does anyone in chat have a good system for keeping track of these things? Yeah, I feel like a lot of times if I'm playing with I might pick up a kit that's like super uh super excited about, and I pick it up and I build it, I play with it, and I'm like, oh, this does not do what I want it to do on the tabletop. It just like goes into the box and just sits there for a really long time until I get around to painting it. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm always most excited to work on a kit as soon as I buy it. If I buy a kit and I like bring it home and I build and paint it, like it's gonna get done in a week. And if I buy a kit and bring it home and put it on the shelf, like I mean, it can sit there for years, for years. A lot of the AOS stuff I'm painting are kits that I've had since it's like 2007. And some of the kits, so some of the stuff I have is painted, or at least partially painted, but a lot of it was still like I built some of those models for the first time, um, a few months ago. Yeah, maybe what I need to do is like I can buy all these boxes, but then I just have to give them to Felicia, and then she can give me like fun dollars. And every time I want something new to do, like I can go spend my fun dollars with Felicia to like take a new kit out of the closet that I already bought, and then I can have all that excitement. I can go shopping, can make a store. I feel like that would be fun. Bring all the excitement back like a second time around. I have a really hard time like reselling a kit I already bought because I already spent the money. The money's gone. So money's gone forever, and I have the plastic. So I end up just keeping it. And then we can, this is where we get to have this fun episode at some point where I unbox my old Warhammer on stream, and we can see what's in there. Yeah, so now I'm going. So I started with Deathworld Forest, and I'm going up to Stratton Green. I really like this green recipe. I don't know if it's the one that it's still. I can't even remember where I found it. I don't know if this was an official GW recipe at some point for Kroot, or if it's one that I just found online. But it's kind of the green that I would want to paint orcs too, where it's like very, very muted in the end. but what I'm most excited for is after I finish this push for the grand narrative, is that I can paint whatever I want. Literally anything. I mean, I guess I could paint anything at any point, but just having this deadline is a nice little motivation to finish up some stuff. And you know, one thing that I was experimenting with painting a lot of the Tau in this last push was how little I could thin my paint and still get a smooth finish. And I realized that you can leave, you know, I use a lot of the paint basically right out of the pot, and just made sure my brush was a little bit more wet when I picked the paint up. And actually had really good results with it, and get really good coverage. That was the main thing, right? Could do a lot of things with one coat that would normally take two. You do definitely have to be much more cautious, vigilant, pay closer attention that you're not leaving a big goop of paint somewhere. But as long as you're doing that, like, it's gonna look Yeah, we also got into a long discussion on Discord today about guessing ranges for war machines in Warhammer Fantasy, and if it's going to come back in the old world. The consensus is probably no, which makes me a little sad. It always felt kind of fun that there was that random, kind of like a little bit of skill involved, some randomness, especially with scat phase. But that you could, you know, if you had multiple war machines, you could use one to like kind of check the range and then shoot the next one. I don't know. I think I'm just being nostalgic for the old game. And it's probably, everything else did sound really good in the article about shooting in the rule set. So I am still pretty excited for it. And I still pretty torn about whether I want to play Tomb Kings when they come out or Bretonnia. And lately I've been leaning a little bit more towards Tomb Kings because painting skeletons is really fast. So I could get an army done in a much shorter period of time. Versus Bretonnia, which painting nice just takes a long time. Hey, what's up, Danny? Did anyone in chat order the new Epic box set? Yeah, I did not order it. I will say that it looks really cool. I just don't think it's for me right now. I have so many painting projects, and I am so much more excited for Old World. Like that's where I started, so I'm really excited to get that going. But Epic is just it's a whole new can of worms. Yeah, I have a friend at work who's I think he ordered the box with the intention of building White Scars. And he actually had a really interesting take on Epic, and especially playing a Legion that is very movement dependent. And it's that, you know, when you play Heresy, your board isn't really that big at the end of the day. It's like, you know, it's a very limited size that you're dealing with. So you can't really maneuver around, like, you don't get the effect of like flanking or like running around, and you have all this movement, especially as White Scars, that you don't get to really capitalize on as much as you could, and you don't get to use it as tactically as you would otherwise. So with Epic, because of the scale, you suddenly, like, your movement is so important, and you can do so much more with it. So, Matt, if you want to paint tiny jet bikes, here is your reason. Yeah, we can. I mean, Matt, we can do our uh, exquisite corpse White Scars. That can happen. We can both ally them in. You see that new Stormseer console? That guy looks fucking cool. I mean, Titans, you could probably pick up one of those in Atlanta at the Grand Narrative. It's going to be out by then, right? Is it out now? Can you already get them? You know, one of my hesitations about starting more projects now is that it's also season is about to start, and I feel like if I have too many projects, I mean, they'll just sit here and nothing will happen to them for a long time. Oh, and this is a good time to remind everyone that if you're enjoying hanging out here and hobbying, liking and subscribing, costs you nothing, means the world to us, helps other people find the stream, and watch the show. And remember, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, Matt will climb this wall on stream. It'll be very exciting, and everyone will want to watch that. Yeah. Every time I paint Kroot, I remember how cool they are, and getting really excited that it looks like some of the new models are going to be Kroot. Now, I hope it's not just a Kroot shaper. I hope it's a new unit or a resculpted unit, because some of them really do need some help. The Kroot Carnivore kit is, I believe, it's either 1999 or 2001. It's still like, you know, like I don't think the sculpts need to be updated that much. It's like they still look really good, but just making the kit a little bit better, a little bit easier to build, and just having not heinous mold lines. Like this guy is from the Kill Team box again. And just really pleasant to paint. Just like the really well defined, the muscles really look good. Like the thing that makes Warhammer kits so approachable is how well defined all the shapes are. Makes painting, you know, much easier than if you just had a flat surface and you had to like actually figure out how to shape the muscles with no recess. Yeah, I guess I could finish building all of my Kroot. I think I still have another. I had 32. I built 20. So I have another 12. This is they used to come in boxes of 16. Which I think was fairly common for Fantasy 2 because that was about the size of a unit. And Kroot offers such a cool stylistic difference on the board where you have your cow army and you have all of your crisis suits and your riptides and your broadsides. You have all this big, heavy armor, hard corners, lots of edges, and then you have this really organic shape for the Kroot. Like, I think it makes for me. It really makes the army, especially visually, like really breaks it up, gives contrast, and they really work off of each other. I always wish they were better on the table because when they were good, they were good because they were cheap, not because they did something really cool. So I just hope there's a little bit more to them in the new book. Maybe there's a detachment that really rewards you for taking fruit. That's the one I would play. And if you've been checking out the Discord lately too, I've been super into capes. I painted this cape last night. I guess it's kind of hard to see the gradient on there. But this was just experimenting with how to get something to read as black. I think it came out a little too light, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. And I might come back and just glaze it with the midtone black. It was actually an off black color, and see if I can get it to really read as black and not as dark gray. But we'll see. It might also just be that just varnishing it with a matte varnish will take care of that effect. Oh yeah, the Great Narlocs are so cool. There is someone on. I know he has a store on Etsy, and I think he has it's 3D. You have a 3D printer who makes all of the Kroot units that don't exist anymore. His name is Master Shaper Felix, and the sculpts are really, really, really good. So if you're looking to pick some of those up to play with the Legends rules, that is the place to go. Oh yeah, I mean, can always paint more trim. I have to say, I think I'm almost ready to paint 5 more Rubric Marines too. I have 5 sitting on my desk. Um, the problem that I have with those 5, which is kind of a bummer, it was because in 9th you didn't have to run. Right, we run them in squads of anything from 5 to 10. I built them. I built. I think I have 7 with flamers and like 12 with bolters, and then some Soul Reaper cannons in there. Now that means I have 3 flamers and 2 bolters sitting on my desk, which doesn't make any sense. So I have to decide if I'm going to try to paint this up or if I'm going to build. I have another box of rubrics. If I'm going to open that box and start building those to just round out the squad so it's actually going to be playable. And here, what I'm doing, as I'm shading these muscles, I'm going for a smaller and smaller area each time. This might be this looks a little too bright. I'm gonna let that just touch up the top there and just let it dry before I decide if I'm gonna mix a little bit of the other green in there. We'll do another spot just so I have some comparison. A lot of times when I'm painting, I end up having my face so close to the model that like I'll put down this paint and it'll look really bright. But actually, when it's on the table and a little bit further away, that extra contrast really, really helps. Helps it be bright. So, we'll see. I can always glaze it back down if I need to. I feel like it went too far. I feel like that spot went a little too far. This can go more. But yeah, especially with these organic shapes, I do like to work them back and forth a little bit. And here I might work with paints that are a little bit thinner, get them a little bit closer to a glazed consistency. You can see I'm testing them on my hand to see how thin they are. It's kind of a hard balance to strike between having the paint be too thin and you get some pooling, because I'm not using a glazed medium, right? I'm just using water here, and too thick and just becomes too dark. Comes on the 18th. That's I mean, they might have it for sale at the Grand Narrative. That's the second day of the event. Does everybody have any thoughts on what you expect to see in the preview this weekend? You can put it in chat, or better yet, put it as a comment. And then we can see who was right with their predictions. I think they're going to show Tomb Kings. I think they're flesh eaters. I think, yeah. I'd buy that they show flesh eaters. Chaos dwarfs, I fucking wish. Um, I've looked to pick up chaos dwarfs, and the best plan I could come up with is to buy a 3D printer. Print them, because there are good sculpts out there, but there's so many. Yeah, I think we'll see some flesh eaters. I think I don't know what we'll see for 40K. That's interesting, because we haven't gotten. There's 2 books that are supposed to come out that we haven't gotten yet. We don't have a date on them even. And we've gotten models for them. Maybe we get another model for AdMech. Are they going to start showing? Because I thought, no, Tower next year, I guess. Yeah, I did see that there's that new Flesh Eaters Court judge with the powdered wig that's all intestines, and I did not like that model. It was, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. The other one they previewed, the one with the big wings, freaking awesome. I would pick one of those up and run it with my Soul Blade just because it's cool. I don't know if it's going to be any good. But yeah, I'm really excited to get more AOS in. I was telling Delicious Relish after our game that I just have so many thoughts on like how I want to push the army, what I want to do next with them. So they're a really great teacher. Super stoked to play more games with them. As I build out this army, I'll probably have them on stream after the grand narrative. That box is I should have it around Thanksgiving time, so I can start building and painting some new sculpts for that army, and not just the ancient ones I have. Yeah, I also have some heresy stuff to build. Like Magnus. I have to build Magnus. Oh, hey Ryan. You made it. Yeah, this guy's coming together pretty nicely. I feel like this guy is cheating though, because he doesn't actually have a face. I mean, he does have a face, but he's wearing a mask, so it's fairly easy to get the face finished. I did have a lot of fun painting the Cadre Fireblade's face. I feel like he came out pretty good. Yeah, this is very, very reasonable number of faces, and especially like the Kroot faces are pretty forgiving, because you know they're like swamp monsters. Yeah, I guess the more I'm painting like organic shapes, the more I feel excited about doing more of it. So who knows what the future holds? Maybe painting all that Cthulhu stuff will give me the fix I'm looking for here. Yeah, I know we're coming up on an hour. I think I'm gonna hang out for a little bit longer. Try to get a little bit more brown done on here. If you like hanging out, if you like what you're seeing, don't forget, like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think they'll show at the Grand Narrative preview. And we'll see next week, if you're right. Again, next week I think you are getting just Matt. I think that I don't remember when I get back, but it is. I know it is on Monday next week, and I feel like I'm going to be pretty worn out. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for hanging out. It's always a pleasure having you. Yeah, and I'll try to take lots of pictures at the Grand Narrative. We'll be able to share some stuff when I'm back. And I think, and Titans would know, but I think that our friends over at Rain City Wargaming are going to do some kind of a video while they're there. So look out for that too. That is definitely going to be pretty cool. And check out their channel too if you want to see some gaming content. Yeah, this if you've seen the old Kroot models, you'll know that they're basically naked. And then, as time's gone on, Kroot have found more clothes to wear. So I actually had to add more colors to my recipe just because there's so much leather on this model that one leather color would have ended up looking really, really boring. So I have dark leather and light leather. That is a hot take. I don't hate painting trim, but there's the saying, variety is the spice of life. I think that's true for painting too. If I have to just paint trim, eventually I just kind of lose it, and I know exactly how many models that is. It is 5 rubric marines. You can do 5 rubric marines at a time every like month, and that's as much trim as I can paint at the same time until I need to paint something different. I think that I'll also want to point out that there's a difference between trim and filigree. Rubric marines have filigree. There's lots and lots of details. Unlike like Primaris trim, which is just a straight line, just feels like it takes a very different kind of attention to get that right. Yeah, if I can do gold trim with one coat, I'm super happy. I've had some of the like Retributor armor is I really like the color, and I've had issues with it covering in one coat. And I've tried different things. I've tried mixing in different golds, and it does improve it a little bit. The thing that I haven't tried yet is mixing in gold pigment to just have more pigment in there, so it really does cover. Yeah, and rubrics there's so much detail on them. And it's like if you do them all in sub-assemblies, they're not that bad, but then you have to like put the whole model together after painting it, and that's a whole challenge on its own. So I build my rubric marines almost all the way. I'll usually leave the gun off, or the arm and the gun off, and that works. Cool. I'll check out Vallejo Old Gold. If it's pretty similar to Retributor armor but covers better, like I'll just mix a little bit of that in, and that might help get that coverage without doing extra coats. All right. Well, we're just over an hour now. So I think I'm going to start wrapping up. Thanks everyone for hanging out. It's been a blast. Now I know I can do this alone, and Tycho didn't even hang out with me the whole time. If you like what you saw, give us a like, give us a subscribe, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think they're going to preview at the Grand Narrative / World Championships in Atlanta. I think it's happening at the same time. And we'll find out if it was right. But for now, I'm going to head out. Have a good night, everyone, and keep hobbying. Bye.